Final words possess a unique power. They are the distilled essence of a lifetime, a mixture of hope, regret, mystery, and wisdom. Some of these last utterances offer a window into a life abruptly shortened by tragedy, while others resonate with the seasoned insight of years well lived. By examining the final words of some of the most notable figures, we glimpse not only the individuals behind the public persona, but also the universal truths about life and mortality. 1. Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart was known for his cool, hard-boiled charm on the big screen. In his final moments, he reportedly said, "I should never have switched from scotch to martinis." These words were shared quietly with his family as he faced the end of his life in January 1957. Bogart had battled esophageal cancer, and even then his wry humor shone through. His remark reflects the kind of dry wit that made him such a memorable presence in films like Casablanca. Listeners say that even in his final hours, he managed to mix humor with regret, creating a moment that felt both human and emblematic of his personality. His simple statement suggests that even the smallest choices can carry weight, a reminder that life is full of ironic twists. When spoken aloud, his words resonate like a final punchline delivered by a beloved actor. Bogart's farewell has since been passed down as a symbol of his enduring legacy, a mix of humor, regret, and the unmistakable cool that defined his long career in Hollywood. 2. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, known as Old Blue Eyes, left behind final words that echoed his resilient spirit. After a severe heart attack in May 1998, when urged by his wife to fight on, Sinatra reportedly murmured, "I'm losing." It was a simple admission during a time of struggle, a brief acknowledgement of his failing strength. Even as his body weakened, the language he chose was as understated as it was real. Sinatra's life was marked by high energy and bravado, both on stage and off. His final utterance reminds us that even legends must eventually yield to fate. When these words are spoken aloud, they sound like the quiet confession of a man who had seen so much in his long, glittering career. They are a far cry from the flashy, larger-than-life persona we associated with him. Instead, they bring us closer to the human being behind the music and movies. A person who, despite all his charm and glamour, could not escape the inevitable end. His last words, simple and unadorned, are remembered as a poignant note in the grand score of his storied life. 3. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford's final words have taken on a life of their own, mixing defiance with raw emotion. On the day of her passing in 1977, as her heart faltered, she reportedly snapped, "Damn it, don't you dare ask God to help me?" These words were directed at the hospital staff who began to pray by her bedside. Known for her strong personality and clear beliefs, Crawford was a lifelong atheist, and her statement was a final rejection of the comfort that others might have wished to offer her. In a straightforward spoken tone, these words capture her fierce independence and her unwillingness to accept religious consolation in her final moments. When you listen to her words, you hear a person who had spent decades fighting to define herself on her own terms, a star who demanded respect and control over her own destiny. Her remark is both disturbing and fascinating, offering a window into the stubborn soul of a Hollywood icon who never let anyone else dictate how she should face the end. It is a raw and honest moment that reflects the intensity of her character. 4. Walt Disney. Walt Disney, the creative visionary behind the magical world of animation, left an enigmatic note as his final words. On the day he passed away from lung cancer in 1966, a piece of paper was found on his desk bearing the single name, Kurt Russell. For many, this cryptic message raised questions and spawned much discussion. Walt had been working on projects that pushed the boundaries of creativity, and his signature blend of mystery and imagination seemed to extend even to his last moments. When he wrote that name, it left those around him wondering whether it was a call for future talent or an inside joke, a final playful nod to the magic of possibility. Listening to his words, one can almost hear the gentle, thoughtful tone of a man who spent his life making dreams come true. Even as he faced death, Disney's message was open-ended, inviting speculation and wonder. It stands as a reminder that behind every finished film and every memorable character was a man who believed in the impossible, even at the very end. 5. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, had a way of mixing everyday language with the weight of destiny. On the morning of August 16, 1977, he reportedly said, "I'm going to the bathroom to read." It was an ordinary remark coming from a man whose life was anything but ordinary. Elvis's casual words, spoken to his fiancée Ginger Alden, came moments before he suffered a fatal heart attack in the Graceland bathroom. The simplicity of his statement reflects the nonchalant attitude he was known for during performances and in interviews. Instead of a dramatic farewell, he chose to speak about a mundane activity, which in a strange way underscores how life can end in the most ordinary of circumstances. Listening to those words, one gets a sense of a man who lived life in the spotlight, yet remained grounded in the everyday world. His parting phrase is remembered as both startling and oddly relatable, a reminder that no matter how grand our lives seem, our final moments may be as simple as deciding to read in the bathroom. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's final words have long been a subject of fascination and sorrow. On the night of August 4, 1962, she called her friend Peter Lawford and said, "Say goodbye to Pat, say goodbye to Jack, and say goodbye to yourself because you're a nice guy." In that final phone conversation, her voice carried a mixture of melancholy and irony. Marilyn, a beloved Hollywood star known for her glamorous image and troubled inner life, left behind a message that was as puzzling as it was haunting. The words have been interpreted in many ways. Some say they were a cryptic farewell, while others believe they carried hidden meaning related to her personal struggles and relationships. Spoken in a soft, almost conspiratorial tone, her words seem to capture the conflict between the public persona and the private pain that defined much of her life. Her final message serves as a bittersweet reminder of the fragile line between fame and loneliness. Even now, decades later, those words continue to spark discussion, offering a glimpse into the troubled mind of one of Hollywood's most iconic figures. 7. John Barrymore. John Barrymore, known for his grand theatrical style and commanding presence on stage and screen, left behind a final quip that is still remembered today. When a friend asked if he was dying, Barrymore reportedly replied, "Die? I should say not, dear fellow." No Barrymore would allow such a conventional thing to happen to him. His words, delivered in his unmistakable theatrical tone, summed up his larger-than-life persona. Even as he faced the final curtain call in 1942, he maintained the humor and defiance that had made him a beloved star. His remark was both a declaration of his unique identity and a final performance, a way to take control of the narrative until the very end. Speaking these words aloud, one can almost imagine him in a dramatic spotlight, laughing in the face of mortality. Barrymore's farewell is a reminder that even when life draws to a close, the spirit of an artist can continue to shine through, leaving a lasting legacy of wit and courage. His final words encapsulate a life lived on his own terms, defiant and theatrical until the very end. 8. Donald O'Connor. Donald O'Connor, the energetic star known for his unforgettable performance in Singin' in the Rain, left behind final words that reflected his playful character. In a moment filled with humor and self-deprecation, he reportedly said, "I'd like to thank the Academy for my Lifetime Achievement Award that I will eventually get." Spoken while surrounded by loved ones in 2003, these words highlighted his ability to laugh at himself, even in the face of death. O'Connor's comment was not only a jest about his unfulfilled Oscar dreams, but also a statement about his life as an entertainer. The simplicity of his language and the casual tone make it feel like a conversation with an old friend, one who always saw life as a series of lighthearted moments. His remark reminds us that humor can be a powerful tool in coping with life's most difficult times. Even now, his words are repeated with a smile, serving as a lasting tribute to a man who never lost his spark. In that final moment, his playful spirit shone through, making his farewell a bittersweet reminder of a joyous career on stage and screen. 9. Paul Walker. Paul Walker, best known for his role in the Fast and Furious franchise, left a legacy that is both remembered for his on-screen charisma and the tragic nature of his untimely death. On November 30th, 2013, as he stepped into a car for what would be his final drive, he is reported to have casually said, "Hey, I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right?" These words, uttered in a tone that was almost conversational, captured the essence of a man who lived life in the fast lane. Instead of a dramatic farewell, Walker's final remark was surprisingly ordinary, a reflection of his down-to-earth personality despite his fame. His calm, almost nonchalant tone before a fatal crash has since become a poignant reminder that life can change in an instant. When spoken, his words sound like the promise of someone who believed in the future, unaware that his journey was coming to an abrupt halt. They serve as a solemn reminder to cherish every moment, as life is unpredictable and every second counts. Walker's simple, friendly farewell is remembered as both tragic and human, a final conversation that continues to echo among fans and loved ones. 10. Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds, whose career spanned decades in Hollywood and whose smile lit up every screen, had a deeply emotional farewell. On December 28th, 2016, just one day after the sudden passing of her daughter Carrie Fisher, Reynolds reportedly whispered, "I miss her so much. I want to be with Carrie." Spoken in a moment of overwhelming grief, her words were filled with a raw, heartfelt pain that revealed the depth of her love. In that final moment, amidst the sorrow and confusion, her simple statement encapsulated the unbearable loss of a daughter and the enduring bond they shared. Reynolds was known for her vibrant energy and warm presence. Yet in her last moments, she became a portrait of human vulnerability. Her voice, tender and almost choked with emotion, was a reminder that even the strongest among us have moments of profound sadness. When you hear her final words, you can almost feel the quiet, aching void left behind by Carrie's absence. It is a spoken farewell that speaks to every parent's deepest fears and every child's treasured place in a parent's heart, a testament to love that goes beyond life itself. 11. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur remains one of the most influential and controversial figures in entertainment history. In the chaotic aftermath of the shooting that would lead to his death in Las Vegas in 1996, he is said to have uttered a brief, defiant remark, "Fuck you." Even as he lay wounded, his tone was unapologetic, matching the raw energy he brought to his music and life. His final words were not a measured farewell, but a burst of anger, a typical reaction from someone who lived on the edge and spoke his mind without reservation. When spoken, this harsh expression carries the weight of a turbulent life, filled with both struggle and immense creativity. Tupac's life was marked by intense emotions and controversies, and his parting expletive is remembered as a true reflection of his rebellious spirit. His words echo the sentiment of a man who always refused to be silenced or tamed, even in his final moments. They capture the defiant edge that made him a legend and continue to resonate with fans who admired his fearless approach to life, art, and personal battles. 12. John Wayne. John Wayne, known as the Duke, was a larger-than-life figure in Western films and a symbol of rugged American masculinity. In his final moments, as he battled cancer, he reportedly whispered, "Of course I know who you are. You're my girl. I love you." Whether spoken to his daughter or another close family member, these words carried the warmth and protective strength that characterized his on-screen persona. Wayne's farewell was not a grandiose statement, but a simple, heartfelt message of love and reassurance. When you listen to these words, they come across as if spoken by a caring father who wanted to leave behind a message of comfort and affection. His life was filled with bold roles and heroic deeds, yet in those final moments, he focused on what truly mattered, his family and the love they shared. This gentle declaration stands as a reminder that even the toughest figures have a soft side, and that love remains the most important legacy of all. His parting words continue to echo as a tender, enduring farewell from a true Hollywood icon. 13. Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball, the beloved queen of television comedy, was known for her infectious energy and unique sense of humor. In her final hours during surgery in April 1989, when a nurse asked if she needed anything, Ball simply responded, "My Florida water." Those words, referring to a citrus-scented cologne she cherished, were delivered in a tone that was both light and matter-of-fact. They may seem trivial compared to the dramatic farewells of others, yet they capture the essence of Lucy's personality, a blend of simplicity, practicality, and quirky charm. Even in her last moments, she chose to focus on something as everyday as a familiar scent. When spoken, her words evoke memories of laughter, television sets filled with her iconic antics, and the warm, inviting feeling of a time when comedy was a daily delight. Ball's farewell is remembered as a uniquely personal detail that connects the world of glamour with the ordinary comforts of life. It stands as a quiet tribute to a woman who made people smile, even as she quietly slipped away from the spotlight. 14. Stan Laurel, half of the legendary comedy duo Laurel and Hardy, is remembered for his gentle humor and quiet charm. In one of his final moments in 1965, he reportedly remarked, "I'd rather be skiing than doing what I'm doing." Spoken in a soft, conversational tone, his words carried a wistful longing for a different life, one filled with lighthearted fun and carefree adventure. Laurel's comment was not just a joke, it was a genuine expression of his desire to escape the seriousness of his final moments. His statement brings to mind the simple joys of life, like the thrill of skiing down a snowy hill, and reminds us that even a beloved comedian can feel the weight of sadness when facing the end. When you hear his words spoken aloud, they resonate with a bittersweet mix of humor and melancholy. It is as if he was choosing to cling to a memory of happy times rather than give in to despair. Laurel's farewell, delivered in his inimitable, understated style, is a tender reminder that life, with all its ups and downs, can be met with a gentle laugh even at the end. Groucho Marx, famed for his quick wit and outrageous humor, left his final words in a manner that was true to his style. While battling pneumonia in 1977 at the age of 86, he is said to have declared, "This is no way to live," in a tone that was both sardonic and genuine. Those words, delivered with his trademark deadpan delivery, capture the essence of a man who spent his life making people laugh, even in the face of adversity. Cho's statement is remembered not as a cry of despair, but as a final, ironic observation on the unpredictable nature of life. When you hear these words spoken, they sound like the punchline of one of his classic routines, a blend of truth and humor. In his final hours, despite his failing health, he still managed to convey a sense of defiance and self-awareness. His farewell is a reminder that even in moments of vulnerability, a sense of humor can lighten the burden of reality. Groucho's parting words continue to echo as a lasting tribute to his unique ability to mix comedy with the hard truths of life. 16. Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, offered a final reflection that fits his enigmatic legacy. In his later years, he is reported to have said, "One never knows the ending. One has to die to know exactly what happens after death, although Catholics have their hopes." These words were delivered in a thoughtful, almost philosophical tone, as if he were pondering the greatest mystery of all, life beyond death. Hitchcock, whose films always left audiences on the edge of their seats, turned his own mortality into a subject of quiet contemplation. His statement, simple and direct, is a window into the mind of a man who spent his life exploring suspense and uncertainty. Listening to his words, one can imagine the soft cadence of his voice as he acknowledged that the final act remains a secret until the very end. His farewell is a fitting metaphor for his entire career, a blend of mystery, a hint of irony, and the acknowledgement that some questions will always remain unanswered. It is a spoken note of curiosity and quiet acceptance, perfectly capturing the spirit of a cinematic legend. 17. Bob Hope. Bob Hope, the legendary comedian and actor who entertained millions over his long career, left behind a final remark that was both light and self-deprecating. When asked by his wife where he would like to be buried, Hope is said to have simply replied, "Surprise me." These words, spoken in a casual and humorous tone, capture the essence of a man who never took life too seriously, even in his final moments. Hope's answer reflects his lifelong habit of using humor to diffuse tension and uncertainty. It is a reminder that even a celebrated entertainer, known for his quick wit and jokes, can approach the end with the same playful attitude that defined his career. When you listen to his farewell, you get the sense of a man who was always ready for a good laugh, even when facing death. His remark has since become a part of Hollywood lore, celebrated as much for its simplicity as for its honest reflection of a life lived with humor and grace. Bob Hope's final words remain a lasting testament to his belief in the unexpected joys that life can bring. 18. Carl Alfalfa. Switzer. Carl Alfalfa. Switzer, remembered fondly as the mischievous kid from The Little Rascals, left a final outburst that was as blunt as it was unforgettable. In a tragic moment that ended in 1959, Switzer reportedly shouted, "I want that $50 you owe me, and I want it now." These words were spoken during a heated argument over a small debt, highlighting how even a young celebrity can be caught up in everyday disputes. His outburst, marked by frustration and a touch of childish indignation, has been remembered by those who witnessed it as a raw expression of anger in a moment of crisis. In a simple conversational style, his demand sounds less like a farewell and more like a desperate cry for what he believed was rightfully his. The words paint a picture of a troubled moment in a young life that was marked by both early fame and unexpected hardship. Listening to his final cry, you can almost hear the echo of a young star caught in the turbulence of life. A reminder that even those who seem larger than life are not immune to the small, painful realities of daily existence. His final words continue to be recounted as a stark, human moment amid the glitz of Hollywood. James Dean, the iconic rebel whose brief career left a lasting impact, is remembered for his tragic final moments. On the fateful day of September 30th, 1955, he is said to have remarked, "That guy's got to stop. He'll see us." These words were spoken in the fleeting moments before a fatal collision ended the life of the 24-year-old star. Dean's brief comment, filled with a sense of urgency and unheeded warning, reflects the restless spirit that defined his short, intense life. When his words are spoken, they evoke the reckless speed and dangerous passion that made him a symbol of youth and rebellion. His final utterance is a snapshot of a moment when life and fate collided in the blink of an eye. It serves as a poignant reminder that even legends, who burn brightly for a short time, are subject to the unpredictable forces of life. In those few words, you can sense both the energy of a man who dared to live on the edge and the sorrow of a life cut tragically short. James Dean's farewell has since become a part of Hollywood lore, symbolizing both the danger and the allure of a life lived without restraint. 20th. Michael Landon. Michael Landon, beloved by millions for his role in Little House on the Prairie, left a touching farewell that captured the warmth of his family ties. In his final moments in 1991, he is reported to have softly said, "You're right. It's time. I love you all." These words, spoken in a tone that was both gentle and sincere, reflect the deep love he felt for his family. Surrounded by his children and wife, Landon's parting statement was an acknowledgement of life's inevitable end, a quiet, heartfelt goodbye that came without fanfare. His simple farewell speaks to the essence of what mattered most to him, the comfort and support of those he loved. The spoken words carry a soothing cadence, as if he was reassuring his family that everything would be all right. His message is a tender reminder that even those who shine on television and the silver screen have personal moments of vulnerability and affection. Michael Landon's final words are remembered not as a dramatic exit, but as a loving, genuine testament to a life devoted to family and kindness, a message that continues to resonate with fans and loved ones alike. 21. Jack Sue. Jack Sue, known for his memorable role on the TV show Barney Miller, left behind a final joke that was entirely in keeping with his on-screen persona. In 1979, as he was being wheeled into surgery for esophageal cancer, Sue is reported to have remarked, "It must have been the coffee." This offhand comment, delivered with a hint of humor, even in the face of grave illness, captured the essence of a man who never lost his wit. His simple words, spoken as if discussing an everyday inconvenience, have since been recounted as a testament to his enduring spirit. Instead of succumbing to fear or sorrow, Jack Soo chose to frame his predicament in a light, almost humorous way. His farewell sounds like a familiar joke told by a friend, a brief moment of levity that stands in stark contrast to the seriousness of the situation. When you hear these words, they remind you of the comfort that humor can bring, even in life's most difficult times. Sue's parting remark is a gentle nudge to remember that a smile can persist even when circumstances are grim, leaving behind a legacy of laughter and resilience. 22. Chris Farley. Chris Farley, the beloved comedian known for his energetic performances on Saturday Night Live, left his final moments marked by a simple, desperate plea. In 1997, at the age of 33, Farley is reported to have whispered, "Please don't leave me," as he struggled with an overdose. His last words, spoken in a fragile, heartfelt tone, reveal a side of him that was rarely seen on stage, the vulnerability behind the laughter. Instead of a humorous punchline, his farewell was a quiet cry for help, a moment of raw emotion that underscored the pain he endured behind the scenes. Listening to these words, you can sense the deep loneliness and fear that haunted him, despite his public image as a jovial performer. His parting plea is a stark reminder of the harsh realities that can lie beneath the surface of a life filled with laughter. Chris Farley's final words continue to be remembered as a poignant moment, a call for understanding and a reminder that even those who bring joy to others may be fighting their own private battles. His legacy lives on not just in the memories of his performances, but in the quiet echo of his last request. 23rd. Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger, whose breakthrough performances captured the hearts of moviegoers worldwide, left behind a set of final words that have stirred deep emotion among fans. On the night before his untimely death in 2008, Ledger is said to have gently told his sister, Katie, I'll be fine," spoken with a tone of reassurance and quiet confidence. These words were meant to comfort and ease the worries of a loved one. Yet the simplicity of his statement belies the tragic circumstances that would soon overtake his life. Ledger's farewell, spoken as if in a casual conversation, reminds us of the fragile nature of life and how quickly things can change. It is a soft, almost tender expression of hope and resilience, even when facing a storm that no one can control. When you listen to his words, they sound like the promise of a brave soul who wanted to leave behind a sense of calm and trust. Heath Ledger's final utterance is a lasting, bittersweet message, a personal goodbye that captures the essence of a man whose extraordinary talent left a mark on Hollywood forever. Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio, although best known as a baseball icon, became intertwined with Hollywood through his storied marriage to Marilyn Monroe. In his final moments in 1999, the 84-year-old DiMaggio reportedly whispered, "I finally get to see Marilyn." These words carry a deep sense of longing and love, as he spoke of reuniting with the woman who had become a symbol of beauty and heartache. His statement, spoken in a soft and reflective tone, provides a glimpse into a heart that had experienced both great joy and deep sorrow. DiMaggio's farewell is filled with personal emotion, a simple sentiment that captures the power of love and loss. When you listen to these final words, you can almost feel the quiet ache of a man who had spent decades cherishing memories of a once blazing romance. His parting comment is a tender farewell, a spoken promise of reunion in another place or time, where love endures beyond the physical world. Joe DiMaggio's last words remain a poignant testament to the enduring power of love and memory, a legacy that continues to touch those who remember his story. 25th. David Cassidy. David Cassidy, a heartthrob of the 1970s known for his role in the Partridge Family, left behind final words that encapsulated regret and reflection. In 2017, as he battled organ failure, Cassidy reportedly said, "So much wasted time." Spoken in a quiet, conversational tone, these words were a heartfelt admission, a simple statement of regret that resonated deeply with those who heard it. His remark reflected the complex emotions of a man who had lived a life under the spotlight, grappling with fame and the consequences it brings. When you listen to his final words, they sound like a soft confession, a desire to have spent life's moments more wisely. Cassidy's farewell is a personal note, filled with the weight of missed opportunities and a longing to reclaim what might have been. It is a reminder that even those who achieve fame and success can look back on their lives with a sense of melancholy and the wish for more time. His parting message, delivered simply and directly, continues to echo as a lesson in cherishing every moment, a legacy that speaks to the heart of a generation.